You might have heard of the term ocean acidification before. It's a growing concern as the world's ocean absorbs excess carbon dioxide due to pollution, which leads to increased levels of acidity in our oceans, which then leads to all of its biodiversity and ecosystems to really struggle. Let's tune in to what some of the marine animals are reporting.
This is Dolpho here. As you can see, there's a lot of bleached out corals, and things aren't looking too good for us. Here's the local residents. You can hear them in crisis.
What are the main causes and consequences of ocean acidification? Well, to put it simply, it's mainly due to human activities. And no, not fun human activities like javelin throwing or musical chairs or playing Uno, but rather it's due to the burning of fossil fuels, which we use as a resource to heat our homes, for transportation, the creation of many of the products and services that we use. And yeah, pretty much a lot of things that we encounter today have some sort of origin to do with fossil fuels. As we burn these fossil fuels, they release CO2, aka carbon dioxide, which, when released into the atmosphere, the ocean absorbs a large portion of it. This excess CO2 then forms a compound known as carbonic acid, which causes a decline in the pH levels, making it more acidic, essentially. And no, unfortunately, this isn't the fun type of acid. Otherwise, the ocean might look a little bit like this. Now, this acidification poses a lot of threats to some of the ecosystems and marine life found in the oceans, particularly shelf-forming organisms like corals, mollusks, and even some plankton, which then disrupt marine ecosystems and fisheries. This is really important because as these shell-forming organisms aren't able to survive, it means that all of the animals, the marine life that depend on those shelf-forming organisms to eat, to consume, no longer have that resource, which then disrupts the ecosystem tremendously. Now, if ocean acidification continues to increase around the world, this could have a massive impact on humans as well, because a lot of the fish we consume and other marine life would really be in decline. They would be super stressed because they just ain't got nothing to eat. Therefore, it's critical that we try to stop, reverse, or just mitigate ocean acidification in the oceans. Now let's talk about some of the potential solutions that we can implement to help minimize ocean acidification. Number one, the biggest thing we could probably do is simply to reduce CO2 emissions. Now, this is easier said than done because pretty much most of the world still heavily relies on burning fossil fuels to even be able to function as a city, as a town, as a country. But what we can start doing is transitioning to more renewable energy sources like wind, solar, hydro energy, for example, and perhaps investing a little bit more in public transport infrastructure, which would lead to less people driving cars and therefore less CO2 emissions into our atmosphere. But don't worry, there will still be many more movies of the Fast and Furious. I can guarantee you that. At number 2, we have conservation and restoration. This is simply making more of an effort to protecting marine life habitats or marine life zones, so creating sort of safe havens, for example, especially towards coral reefs, which would mean, no fishing in those areas, no driving polluting boats in those areas, etc. And furthermore, there are restoration projects all over the world which are trying to regenerate some coral reefs. They're trying to regenerate kelp forests, which, do absorb a lot of the CO2 in our oceans and also help to develop a lot of marine life. So just keep conserving and restoring. At number 3, we have sustainable fishing practices. So there's two things here that can be done, two major things. One is you as a consumer to do your best to purchase your fish products, anything that comes from the ocean, essentially. Try to source them locally. Try to make sure that they are ethically, sustainably sourced. You can usually do so by checking the labels and the products, or going to a local market and buying directly from the fishermen themselves. And yeah, that's a good way to help decrease the stress on a lot of the marine life. And number 2 would be more policies, more procedures in place for the protection of overfishing in our oceans. There's a lot of people to feed in the world, that's for sure. There's no quick, easy answer to this. But the rate at which people are catching fish with these giant nets, just catching everything they can and then only keeping what they want, but then chucking out the marine life that they catch, which serves them no purpose or it's illegal for them to catch, like sharks or small whales, for example. It's just devastating to a lot of marine life ecosystems, and this is something that is a big challenge because the ocean is so big. There's so many people to feed, and yeah, basically it's just something that we really need to work on and improve upon because the system right now just is not working. So at number 4, we have research and monitoring. So this is for all the scientists, for all the very smart people who have done all the research to date, who have coined the term ocean acidification. It's because of their research, their passion to continue to monitor our oceans, the acidity levels, and then come back with data which is, what is raising alarms, what is incentivizing communities, governments, individuals to get out there and try to reverse ocean acidification. As an individual, maybe you can take oceanography or marine biology or politics, so you can get into a leadership role and
take over the world,
but really hopefully change some things for the better. And also hopefully governments will spend more of their funds, of your taxpayer money, on saving our oceans and the biodiversity on Earth, instead of spending billions on warfare. That'd be nice. Yeah. And at number 5, we have education and advocacy. This is basically just raising awareness about ocean acidification to the youth, to those in leadership roles and political roles that can implement change, can pass laws, can legislate new terms and conditions for companies fishing out in our oceans. And yeah, this is basically what this video is. I'm trying to raise awareness. So that's just a few solutions there. It's not an extensive list, it's not a detailed list, but it's a start, and hopefully it gets your head turning and thinking about our ocean and all of the marine life in it, and how, if that is affected due to ocean acidification, how it's going to affect us, how we're going to lose thousands and thousands of species to extinction. And yeah, hopefully it burns that little fire in you and spreads like wildfire in a good way. And yeah, you get more involved in your local government, in your local green movement clubs or organizations. So do what you can. Get out there and join them. And I want to mention one more thing. Climate change and ocean acidification, it is a global issue. It's not something that one nation can begin to solve or fix, reverse. It's something on a global scale. The ocean touches every corner of the world, and we all need to work collectively as one, and sharing data, sharing technologies on how best to reduce ocean acidification, clean up our oceans, reduce these mega scale harmful fishing practices, and so forth. So that's always something to keep in mind with climate change. Is it's a big one. It's a big issue. It's one that's gonna take the greatest minds from all over the world. If you made it all the way till the end, thank you for tuning in. My name is Brian, and I run this small channel at the moment called Green Waves. It revolves around climate change solutions, also humanitarian crisis solutions. I'm gonna be creating more videos around that subject too as time goes on. And yeah, thanks for making it all the way here. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I will see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe.